In this tutorial, we are going to create the stack for the train, for the Project Lead the Way miniature train project. And I'm going to use a revolve with this, just like I did with the wheel and the pegs. And the only difference here is at the end, I'm going to basically ignore this hole while I'm creating the part, because this is just a counterboard hole that we can put in later. So I'm going to ignore all of that, and because I'm given a cross section here, I've got an idea of what that is going to look like without the hole, and I'm going to recreate this in Inventor. So I'll go to Inventor and create a new part, and I'll begin by creating a sketch. I will do it on the XY plane here, and I am going to begin by roughing out what I think half of that stack will look like. So there is a cylinder at the bottom, and that is going to be represented by this square here. Then it tapers out a little bit like this, and then it tapers back in, and then it meets back in the center. And remember that when we draw something for a revolve, we are only drawing half of it, because then we are going to revolve this shape around this center axis line, and that will lay the revolve the entire thing. So whenever I have a horizontal dimension, I have to be careful to make sure to cut that in half. For example, I know that the bottom diameter of this cylinder is 0.5, but I'm only drawing half of it, which means the distance from here to the center, this is actually the radius, or half of the diameter, which would be 0.25. And so I have to make sure when I'm given a dimension like that, I know that this is 1.25, so the distance from this point here to the center is half of 1.25, which I can do right in here by doing 1.25 divided by 2, which is 0.625. Now any vertical dimension, I'm not cutting it in half vertically, and so I don't have to worry about doing that here. So I can just say that from here to here is 0.25, just like it is in this. I can say that this is 1.5, and that is from here to the diameter of this is 1.5, and the diameter from the bottom to the very top is 1.75. Now I don't have to worry about the angle of this, because I'm told the distance from the center to the edge, so I know the exact location of this point and the exact location of this point from width and height dimensions. And so there's only one line that can be at the angle that meets both of those points, so this one is fine. This one I haven't been told enough about. I don't know what the diameter of this top circle here is. All I'm given is this 15-degree dimension. So for this one, I have to do it at 15 degrees. And there's a lot of ways to do this. I like just drawing a vertical line. And then when you dimension, I hit D. And when I dimension between two lines that aren't parallel to each other, I will get an angle. And I can just specify that that should be a 15-degree angle. And that should be everything I need to revolve this. I don't even have to trim this line, because it doesn't create a shape, so it won't even be recognized when I do the revolve. So now I can finish the sketch and then go to revolve, which is next to extrude here. I'll click on revolve. It's asking for the profile, which is the shape that I want to revolve, which is that one. And then my other red arrow, I need to change all the red arrows to white by choosing the thing that it's the info that it's looking for. In this case, axis. What is the center line that I'm going to be revolving around? And in this case, it's just the edge of that there. And when I click OK, I create this stack. Now the last part is I have a hole at the top. Now I'm given counterboard directions or dimensions for this hole, so I can't just, I guess I could just create a hole and extrude it and make another circle and extrude it, but it'd be much faster to do it as a whole feature. So I'm going to click here because I am right in the middle. That's very handy. I am going to create a point here at the top using this point tool here. I'll just create a point right in the center and then finish. And when there are points, either one or several, when I click on hole, it will find those points and select them. And now I can choose the things that I need to for the counterbore. The counterbore is this one. And the way that you put this information here is basically the opposite of the way that you're given it, which is not well made, I think. I have a termination. It isn't a through hole, all hole, so you want to make sure that it's blind like that. These top dimensions are for the counterbore, which is the larger part. So you need to look here, and anything after this counterbore symbol is the dimension for the larger part. You can also tell because this diameter is bigger than this diameter, so this is obviously the smaller hole, but it is the opposite. So I have to put in 0.875 here with a depth of 0.375. The overall depth, this is also backwards. So now, at first I did diameter and depth, now I'm doing depth and diameter. So the depth of the smaller hole is 1.5 and the diameter is 0.375. And with all of those things, when I click OK, I have created this hole. Also another thing with the hole, I'm going to double click on it back in my browser so I can go into it again. I can change the drill point. So this one seems to have a flat drill point instead of the angled one. So I can click on this and make sure that that drill point at the bottom is flat. And now I've created the stack.